Tommy brought up last night, and during my brief ESPN appearance, your game last night against the Nets was also brought up. I wanted to sort of touch on this specifically with the Nets, but just in sort of a broad sense. You guys beat the Nets 118-95 last night. Big fourth quarter. You won against a team that many consider to be, the number one team to beat in the East. I think the gambling odds are well in favor of the Nets, even without Kyrie. And Tommy has been singing the Bulls' praises since free agency. He's basically
since they signed you.
Since they signed you, he's said that the Bulls are going to win the East. Internally, like, where do you guys view your ceiling? Is a championship? Because I've been on teams where you talk about a championship and it's bullshit, and I've been on teams where you talk about a championship. It's a very real thing. It's a very real possibility. Where do you guys sort of see yourselves internally in terms of a ceiling?
We haven't had too many in-depth discussions, at least not as a collective unit. Obviously, I think I can win anything, right? So I'm showing up for whatever happens and expecting to be at the top. But we really haven't talked too much about, the future or what March looks like, what April looks like, what May looks like, June, July, wherever it is. We've honestly been really focused on trying to get it right now and trying to grow and get better, because even we started 7-3, we could easily be 4-6, 5-5, 9-1, that's just the way that the NBA goes. And I think for us, that was kind of our how you get a memo from the team and the organization and media day, all right, this is what we want to say, It's we're gonna grow, we got to earn it, blah blah blah. But we genuinely have been holding true to that. We're trying to get better, and we got the pieces right. We 3 unselfish, elite, all-star players, young point guard, great player that's going to get even better, and then a bunch of role players that know how to play, know their role, and do it really well. It's just about putting those together and getting where we want to be in, like we said, March, April, May. But yeah, it's not like we're trying to temper expectations either, right? It's not like we're saying all right, let's not say this. You don't want to put this out there because people will say this, that, or whatever, or have expectations for you. I think for us, it's really just about trying to put so many new pieces together that we're just trying to get it right internally before, we worry about anything on the outside.
What have you learned about Zach and about DeMar as teammates that you sort of didn't know about them before?
Man, just they're really good dudes. I never hung out. I never talked to DeMar before I'd been his teammate before. But he's one of those guys you just love to have on your team, because he's just about winning and playing basketball. He doesn't really get wrapped up in anything. He just shows up, does his job, scores 20 to 30 points, and gets ready to go to the next game, which I appreciate and I love, because I don't know, for me, it's we play a simple game, just go out and play basketball, and the rest will kind of take care of itself. Be a good person, hang out with your teammates. So I think he fits that mold really well. And like I said earlier, them being so low maintenance and unselfish as the best players on the team. JJ, chime in and talk about this if you want. That's hard to find in the NBA. To get all of the people that are supposed to be your best players as guys that are just go with the flow, kind of just roll with the punches people. I feel like that's really hard to find. And then Zach's been starving of trying to win for so long that he's just trying to get it right. That's been the one thing with him is he's been trying to learn and adapt to this new situation, right? Because Chicago, even before that, he was in Minnesota. He hasn't done a lot of winning in his career. So learning how to win, he's working on that, and he's improving. And I think it showed last night in our game. When we do stuff right, we're a really good team. It's just about putting it together for 48 minutes.
Here's what I'll chime in with. There's going to be some haters on that comment who will say that you are speaking about former teammates that were stars that were not low maintenance.
Well.
And I will say that the norm is that the star players are the talent, and yeah, they generally are more high maintenance. I spoke about this a ton while I was with Dallas, and Luka was like an anomaly to me. Yeah, he was just one of the guys, very low key. He's
still a kid too. He doesn't even understand.
Yeah, he doesn't understand how good. Like it's and it's so that's very and I've heard amazing things about DeMar. And I'm going to be honest with you. I was a little shocked at the contract he got, given his age and everything. He has been phenomenal.
He's been balling.
He's been phenomenal. I looked it up today. DeMar's fifth in the league in scoring at a very high efficiency. Zach is somehow sixth in the league in scoring.
Yeah, I feel like he's had a pretty slow start, to be honest, because he hurt his hand a little bit.
I thought the same thing. I couldn't believe it.
Yeah.
So you had the fifth and the sixth leading scorers in the league.
And to be honest, Vooch hasn't been playing great offensively either. Like I said, we got a lot of room to go.
No, you guys are finding ways to win.
Yeah.
The one thing I would say is, like, traditionally, historically, with the exception of some recent anomalies like the 2018 Cavs, you need to have a top 10 defense to be a finals contender to win an NBA championship. And Vooch gets knocked as a rim presence defensively. He has anchored multiple top 10 defenses in Orlando. He's such a smart player. Billy's a great defensive coach. You guys clearly have the personnel on the wings. There's a lot to like about your team. And honestly, like, my biggest hesitancy prior to last night was I don't know how many great teams they've beaten. I think there was one other big win that you guys had. After last night and the drubbing in the fourth quarter, I don't want to agree with Tommy ever, but call me a believer. Call me a believer. I think you guys have a pretty high ceiling.
Yeah, I mean, the ceilings is, as high as we want to take it. You know, I think that's the beauty of it, and that's something for me that I'm excited about, is because, like, I think we got the guys that are willing to put in the work to get there. And one thing I'm gonna shout out Billy Donovan, man. He's such a great communicator. You know, like for an NBA head coach, his ability to talk to the players, understand what they're doing, but then also lead, motivate, and hold you to the standard, right? Like that's a talent to have. He does a great job of it. You know, he does a great job of holding the best players on the team to the standard, just as well as, you know, guys playing no minutes, and then also communicating what he expects from you, what he needs from you, what you should be doing, stuff like that. I think that, you know, is the icing on top of the cake for us as far as, you know, what the ceiling can be for a team.